everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm back. I'm so glad to be coming to you with another video. This is a landlord tenant hearing. The first hearing goes pretty well. If the defendant can pay what she owes, she'll be all caught up. The second hearing is kind of confusing. The defendant is actually not the person that is under the lease. That person moved and has communicated with the office. So basically it's her ex-boyfriend, and she said that she's tried to pay rent, but they won't take it because she actually doesn't live there contractually. Also, P.S. I did put the second preview, well, the preview for the second case, I put in the middle of the first case. I was trying to drag it over, and trust me, I was like spending so much time like holding my fingers so that I could drag across, but this video is a very long video, so I would have had to have my finger there for a very long time, and it was getting tired. So I apologize for the sudden clip, the preview for the second case all of a sudden in the first case, but I hope you enjoy. Let me know what you think in the comments. Like and subscribe.
Yeah, so that's
July's rent payment due.
Plus July's rent payment. So it would be 143. It'd be 875.14.
I think I neglected to start the record in the last case, which was LVNV versus John Berg. Mr. Berg was present. The file number is 25-68GC. No one showed up on behalf of Rusin, Verschetti, and Olivier, the law firm, on behalf of LVNV Funding. In talking with the defendant, Mr. Berg, it appears he's entered into some sort of a consent repayment agreement and has in fact made an initial payment earlier this week of $50. It also appears that they may have waived costs. So we're going to look for that consent judgment, but I did not set aside the default. So I've got legal aid, Janet Glenn, the defendant, and I don't have the attorney yet. Good morning, good afternoon, Ms. Hxllo. Can you hear me?
Yes.
We've done this before, but I'm going to take a minute once again and advise you of your rights as a tenant in a landlord-tenant proceeding. The attorney isn't here yet, but we can get started. This is file number 251238. It's entitled Enchanted Glen versus Nicole Hxllo. At this point, Ms. Hxllo, they're demanding you to pay rent. And as such, you have certain rights as a defendant in a landlord-tenant proceeding. You have the right to hire an attorney. If you cannot pay for one, legal aid is here on the live feed and may be able to offer advice, or you may be able to seek other advice from legal aid or other services. You have a right to have the case heard here in St. Joseph County where the property is located. You have a right to demand a jury trial. If you want a jury trial, you must tell the court at this first appearance or file a written demand using the jury demand form MC-22 and file it with the court along with a $50 filing fee unless the judge waives that fee. If your landlord has asked you to be evicted from a residential property because you haven't paid rent, and that's what this is, you may be able to get assistance from the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services, local coordinated entry agency, housing assessment and resource agency, that's Neighborhoods Inc. Or if you're a veteran, you may be eligible for some veterans housing benefits. We sent that information to you with the packet. You do not need a judgment against you to receive help from the places listed above. Copy of the summons and complaint are sufficient, and you have received that. you may be able to reach an agreement with the landlord that means the case would get dismissed, in which case we could file what's called a conditional order of dismissal. Good afternoon. I just advised this defendant of her rights. Are you Gregory Popovits?
Gary Popovits, you're on.
Gary
Popovits. Good to see you this morning or this afternoon. And here on behalf of Enchanted Glen, and I have the property manager from Enchanted as well. And thank you. For allowing me in the courtroom, and I did hear the rights that were read to Ms. Ann Zulda.
They had another law firm for many years, and apparently they're now going with your services. And we'll see where we go. Ms. Anzaldúa has been through this before. This is a non-payment of rent case. At the time of filing, it wasn't. What's your defense? You're not on the lease, you're not paying rent, and you have a dog there that isn't supposed to be there. And
well, I have, sorry.
Go ahead.
I have text messages between me and the property manager where I contacted her about making payments and trying to take over the lease, and she told me that it was not possible. So I offered payment and they denied it. And then ever since the eviction started, they've been doing crazy obscene things that I do have proof of. Like they've been stealing tools from outside, where she texted me telling me that the people that they had working here brought it back. They've shut off our hot water. They've been completely I don't know. They've been unwilling to work with me and have just been really terrible.
Well, the line, it was only $284.14. What's the current status?
I'll defer to the property manager for the updated amount due. Yeah, thank you.
She just paid $490 yesterday, and that brought her balance down to $732.14.
Through when?
That's not including the attorney fees and legal fees and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, we'll put that in there. $732.14 through July.
No, she'll owe for July yet.
Yeah, so that's
July's rent payment due.
Plus July's rent payment. So it would be 143. It'd be $875.14.
That would pay her through July.
Yes.
All right, Ms. Anzaldúa, do you agree with that?
Yeah.
Your Honor, I do have the other costs that we would ask for a breakdown from Ms. Anzaldúa's benefit as well.
All right, yeah, let's talk about that.
So we show a filing fee of $90, the court's mailing fee under the new summary proceeding changes for $13. So we had a second mailing in this case. Service fees for personal service were $44.69. She was personally served on June 16th. Attorney fees would also be capped at the $75 statutory rate, subject to this court's discretion.
All right, how much does that add up to? $90 plus 13 plus $44.69 plus 75 is $222.69.
That's my calculated total as well, Your Honor. Thank you.
Plus $875.14 is $1,097.83. Ms. Anzaldúa, that's how much you have to pay your rent through July with costs.
Okay.
In the normal course of business, I would adjourn this to next Friday, but I won't be here next Friday. So I'm going to continue this. And I apologize, Mr. Popovits, but I'm going to be gone for a bit. To Tuesday, July 29th at 10:30.
Okay.
What was that, 2:30, Your Honor?
10:30.
10:30, thank you.
Now, Mr. Anzaldúa, let's talk about this. If you pay the rent, you don't need to come.
Okay.
If you don't pay the rent, we'll have a further hearing on that day, and I would give you 10 additional days to pay the rent or move. Of course, at that time, 10 days from the 29th would take us to August 9th, August 8th. And you'd owe another month's rent of $143 for August. But you don't want to lose this tenancy. Your rent's only $143 a month,
Yeah.
and you're not going to find anything comparable. Now, you made a substantial payment a day or two ago, which is a good sign. So was it your intention to pay this?
Yeah. I just started working again and I had gotten paid. So I paid what I could.
All right, well, let's see how much you can pay by July 29th. Now, that's way longer than I'd like. It's 18 days, and I'm supposed to continue it for 7 days. But I won't be here, so we're just gonna have to do the best we can.
Okay.
All right, so we'll revisit this on July 29th, 2025. You owe, that's at 10:30 in the morning, and that's a Tuesday. That's an unusual day, Meg. You owe $875.14 in rent through July, plus costs of $222.69 for a total of $1,097.83. So you owe just under $1,100.
Okay.
Let's see what we can accomplish by July 29th. My advice is always the same: stay in contact with your manager. All right, do you have any questions?
Nope.
Okay, thank you. You're good to go.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. Nice to be in front of you, and we'll see you on the 29th.
All right, we'll see you again.
All right,
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, let's set things aside for a minute. Mr. Rusin,
Hi, Judge. How are you?
good afternoon. That hearing was at 1 and nobody came from your firm.
Well, that's strange. I had this at 1:15. I'll have to take that up with my staff.
No, it's set for 1. So Mr. Berg was here. This is another alleged fraudulent service. And he was quite emphatic that he was never served with this, and he was prepared to testify regarding that. However, he indicated that he did accept that he owed the debt, and he had started a repayment agreement with your company. And somewhere it sounds like there's a consent judgment floating around or something.
Well, Judge, I'm sorry to interrupt, Judge. But yeah, my records show I mailed to Mr. Berg a conditional dismissal. I can tell you, Judge, as an officer of the court, with the way that the United States Postal Service is running these days, it literally takes a week to 10 days for me, a letter from me in Mount Clemens to get over to your county. And yes, he did attempt to pay on the conditional dismissal. That's what I can tell you, Judge, in view of the fact of the hearing being called at 1 and me signing in at 1:15.
Well, I declined to set the default aside because it would be more hassle than it was worth to set the default aside when this order is floating around out there.
Yeah.
So it's also possible that it's here, although I think the staff was looking for it and couldn't find it. So I told him to continue to make his payments. If he didn't hear anything, to contact the court.
All right. Well, thank you,
So
Judge.
that just picked up our landlord tenant docket at 1:15. So I'll await conditional order of dismissal is in the mail. I'll be glad when we're done with these because I believe him. I don't think he was personally served. And I have another.
Yeah, matter of fact, just I can tell you, if it hasn't made the judges committees, that I understand that this process server, Kathleen Pierce, from the judge, and I can't remember which district court judge it was in Grand Rapids, has referred her to the Attorney General.
It was Judge O'Hara. Yes. This process server was Tori Renfro.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right. Well, then I stand corrected on the well-known Catherine Pierce then. So
anyway, I didn't set the judgment aside. He's gonna do a repayment. You've submitted a conditional order of dismissal. He acknowledges the debt. He wants to pay it. And we'll just leave it as it is. All right, thank you.
All right. Thank you, Judge. Have a great weekend.
All right. Hello, everybody else. Our 125 case is Vista Point, which is, I think, Cato Lane. I'm not sure what it's called now. 251292 versus Jamie Caldwell. The esteemed Casey Strong, who missed out on attorney pretrials this morning. There were only 412, so you should have been here. Is here on this matter for the Bradshaw Law Firm. This is filed as a termination of tenancy, and I was served a notice to quit. Defendant was personally served. I don't believe they're here. iPhones is Mr. Larkins. Caitlin Thornton is here. This matter is set for 125. Ms. Strong, what do you know about this case?
Thank you, Your Honor. This case, it's a simple case. There was a notice to quit sent back in April requesting that this individual vacate the property under a termination theory. It's termination at the conclusion of a leasing agreement. It's my knowledge, information, and belief that the defendant has not vacated. I've gotten no notes otherwise, and we would be asking for a default judgment. It's a possession-only judgment. There's been no money judgment requested or prayed for. The owner simply wants possession of the property after a holdover.
The notice to quit was in April. The lease expired May 31st. The notice to quit date was May 31st. I do not believe, I can't tell whether this is subsidized. There are some limitations on a termination of tenancy at the expiration of a lease in a subsidized apartment. There needs generally to be good cause shown, and I can't tell whether this is subsidized or not. But the defendant isn't here. Mr. Bradshaw, I'm sure, is aware of that, and Mr. Fleeman, so maybe they know something I don't. Maybe this is just market rate. And let's see what the monthly rent was.
The monthly rental rate is $775. And I see in my notes here that we do not have an indication on the complaint that this is any kind of subsidized property.
Okay. Well, if you bear with me for a minute, Ms. Strong, we'll let the clock tick a little bit in case they show up. Let's see if. Hi, looking for some people. Jamie Caldwell or Michael Kurth? All right, thanks. They love yelling down the empty hallway for people.
No, sir, nobody.
All right, thank you. Bye. All right, Jamie Caldwell is not present. Possession only.
And we'll email in a judgment if the court would prefer.
Yes. Date for the writ is 10 days from today. Today is the 11th of July. Date for the writ would be July 21st. And the appeal. All right, go ahead and send it. They're not here. I don't know if they just plan to move or they don't want to move or they'll get this and then they'll do something. they aren't here. And we've got our next case to move on to. So you know the email address.
Yes, Your Honor, thank you.
All right, you're good to go. Thanks. That is the old Colonial Crest, I believe, which was guess what? And now it's Vista Point. Everybody's got a glamorous sounding name. Speaking of glamorous sounding names, our next matter is Scott and Annette Larkins versus Michael Kurth. This one isn't set till 1:35, so we gotta let the clock tick a little bit. While we're doing that, let's calculate what our current arrearage is. Rent was $225 a week. The time of filing, it was $715 plus other stuff. Mr. Larkin's manager, Caitlin Thornton, is also present. I'll defer to her. Ms. Thornton, what's the current arrearage?
The current arrearage is 1,880.
That's through when?
Through today.
7/11. And the court cost, let's calculate that. 60.
Sorry.
Okay. 68 service or 68 filing and 3881 service. Is that what you have? Is 10681. Plus 1880.
With an additional 120 in late fees for May, June, July.
Okay.
Judge, what was the amount due through today? I heard a much larger number. So I must
1880.
Okay. I definitely
plus 10681 plus how much was late?
It is 40, so 120 for May.
$40 a week?
No, a month.
Oh, well, I thought this was week to week.
It is a week to week.
All right. All right, someone named Lindsay Pantoa is here. Let's see who this is.
She would be the current occupant. She's an unauthorized occupant, but she is who is residing in the unit. Michael Kurth has vacated. He texts on June 12th that he had moved out. When we went to go take back the property, we noticed that there was a motorcycle and a dog, and found out that we have other people living there. The case had already been filed, so we continued it through.
All right, let's find out what we've got. Ms. Pantoa, could you join me, please? Can you hear me? Does the lease prohibit dogs?
Yes. We also weren't aware that she was living there to begin with.
Ms. Pantoja, could you join me, please? I see a very blurry countenance. I don't know if it's a shadow, there's a light behind, then I can't hear you. So the name says Lindsay Pantoa, but I can't hear you or see you. So I'd ask you to please turn on your sound. Because this isn't helpful at all. Miss Pantoa, can you hear me? This is like a nightmare vision of a blurry apparition. Can't see you, but it appears your microphone is on. So could you answer me? This is not even registering as an appearance. Do you believe there are more people than just her there?
We've seen when we realized that there were other people living in the unit, we did have police come with us to the property. We've noticed a gentleman named Kane Height. His motorcycle is there quite often. He states he's not living there, but he's there on a fairly regular basis.
Well, now we got Wing Tech. Miss Pantoa, can you hear me? It's like somebody smeared Vaseline all over the lens of her camera. And I can't hear you. You have a light behind you. Oh, that's a little better. I can tell there's a person there from another dimension. All right, your microphone is on. Can you hear me? Had this been in another manner, you probably would have filed a termination of tenancy.
Had we known
But the matter had already been filed, so it's Michael Kurth and all occupants. The problem is if they pay rent, then they sort of start a tenancy, but I sincerely doubt anyone is going to pay any rent. Miss Pantoa, can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me? I heard something.
Hear me now?
Barely. I can't see you. You got a bright light behind you and you got a very blurry camera. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. The allegation, or the case name, we've been dinking around with this for 9 minutes, waiting for you to connect, is Scott and Annette Larkins versus Michael Kurth. This is apartment 3 at 403 South Main Street. According to the landlord, you're a squatter and you've taken over Mr. Kurth's apartment. You have a dog and Mr. Heck may also be living there and no one is paying the rent. And they would like someone to pay the rent or for you to move. You don't have a lease with the Larkins. How did you come to be there?
I moved in with Michael Kurth in January.
I can't hear you. You need to speak into the microphone. This is like the worst connection I've had. And so I don't speak up.
I'm trying to call in. I don't know what's wrong with my speaker.
All right. How did you come to be there?
I was dating Michael Kurth, and I moved in January, and then he just kind of started to move to Virginia and left me here.
All right. Well, right now, no one is paying the rent. So I'm going to tell you what your rights are as a tenant in a landlord tenant proceeding. Here's a phone number. All right.
Can you hear me?
Yes. You need to hang up the other phone. I'm going to
The
delete.
one on video?
Yes. Can you hear me
Okay.
now?
Yes, I can.
All right. Anyway, they contend they never knew you were living there. Mr. Kurth moved out, and then they went to check on the place. They found that you were in there. No one has paid the rent in quite some time, and it's $1,880 in arrears. You're what's called a tenant at sufferance. You don't have a lease. You apparently have a dog in there in violation of the lease, and there may be other people staying there. So they want you to either pay the rent or move. Primarily, they want you to move. You have the right to hire an attorney. If you cannot afford one, you can ask legal aid for assistance. You have a right to have the case heard here in St. Joseph County where the property is located. You have a right to demand a jury trial. If you wish to have a jury trial, you must tell me at this first court appearance or file the written demand in writing within 5 days and pay the jury demand fee of $50 unless the judge waives it. If your landlord has asked you to be evicted from a residential property because you haven't paid rent, you may be able to get assistance from the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services, a local coordinated entry agency, a housing assessment and resource agency, or federal help for homeless veterans. You should have received that information earlier. You do not need a judgment against you to receive help from those places, and they're not going to give you any help because you're not on the lease. You need to be able to, well, if the parties are agreeable to work out some sort of agreement, they can file what's called a conditional order of dismissal. Or if both parties are interested in mediation, the court can help set that up. Ms. Pantoja, what's your plan?
Well, I've contacted legal aid, and they contacted me back yesterday, and they were supposed to give me another call today, so.
All right, well, legal aid is here. I can let you talk to them. What's your defense? You're not on the lease, you're not paying rent, and you have a dog there that isn't supposed to be there. And
Well,
possibly
sorry.
Go ahead.
I have text messages between me and the property manager where I contacted her about making payments and trying to take over the lease, and she told me that it was not possible. So I offered payment and they denied it. And then ever since the eviction started, they've been doing like crazy obscene things that I do have proof of. Like they've been stealing tools from outside, where she texted me telling me that the people that they had working here brought it back. They've shut off our hot water. They've been completely like I don't know. They've been unwilling to work with me and have just been really terrible and kind of started.
They don't wish to enter into a lease with you. And so you're in a difficult position. They also don't want your dog in there. So I'm going to continue this, and I'm not going to bump this all the way out. She's a tenant at sufferance, and I'm going to cram this in.
While you're looking, Judge, I'll
Yes.
say that I see no record of a phone call from Miss Pantoja or Pantoja. I don't know what phone number she called, but I will provide her, make sure she has the right number for our direct office.
All
I
right,
just got a
Ms.
call from you guys yesterday. 336-3395 or 366-3395.
33. That certainly sounds like it could be one of our numbers. So
Yeah,
it's
I talked to you
possible.
at 11:54 yesterday.
Okay. Do you know who you spoke with?
I don't. The lady that I talked to ended up putting me on hold, and then she sent me through to kind of like an intake specialist or whatever, because I was missing a couple things when I did the application online. And then she said that somebody was supposed to call me back, and I've just been waiting to hear back again.
Okay.
All right, so what do you want to do, Ms. Pantoja? You want to stay there and enter into a lease with them?
I mean, not specifically, no. But I don't think that they should be able to like shut our hot water off and then not come out and turn it back on. Like, they're just doing obscene things for absolutely no reason, and it's just not fair.
Now, I don't know about that. There's a thing that says they can't shut off your hot water, but that may be a reason why it didn't work. But have you made any provision to move?
Yeah, I have.
All right, we're going to continue this to July 16th at 11 a.m. We've got a very full docket that morning. We'll see what our status is. That's next Wednesday. That's not 7 days, it's 7. It's 5 days, I guess. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 5 days, but we're gonna see what our status is. At this point, I can put you in a breakout room. I don't know what happened with your other phone. I couldn't see you, I couldn't hear you. I don't want to do this by telephone. So if you can't connect by Zoom, you need to come over to the courthouse next week.
Okay.
Now, if you agree to move and just agree that you'll vacate by a certain date, they can agree to that. But there's also this issue of the dog. What kind of a dog is it?
She's a collie. She's a handicapped dog as well. But I'm not the only one that has animals that lives here at the apartment. Like, the neighbors that just moved had 3 dogs, and the other downstairs neighbor has a cat and a dog.
I don't know the
And
answer.
he moved in after I had already moved in, so.
The downstairs neighbor doesn't have a dog.
All right, well, it
He
doesn't matter.
absolutely
You're
has an
not- you're
animal.
not
He has
even
a
on-
black cat.
You're not even on the lease. And the lease
Well,
says.
but I had like a verbal lease with Michael Kurth, which makes me a subleasee, right?
No, it doesn't. It
Because
makes you-
I have financial ability to pay the rent, and
Well,
I was
they don't
denied
want you-
being able to pay the rent.
And they have a right to do that. All right, so my suggestion is you save the money that you would pay to them and use it to move to the next place. But according to Ms. Thornton, they didn't even know you were there until after Mr. Kurth left. So we'll sort this out further, but we'll revisit this next Wednesday, July 16th at 11 a.m.
Judge, I will correct the record. I did a phone number based search, and I do see a pending intake for Ms. Pantoja here.
All right,
It
very
didn't
good.
come up under her name.
Ms. Pantoja, I'm going to let you speak with our legal aid representative. Mr. Larkin, you're good to go. Ms. Thornton will address this, cram it in next Wednesday morning before I leave, and see where we are.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. All right, I'm going to try to set up a breakout room. Sometimes it's hard to do when all you got is a telephone. Remember, if you can't come in by Zoom, you need to come in here.
Okay.
Because I want to be able to make sure we're on the same wavelength. All right, it should join you automatically. You'll be with Meg Bauer from Legal Aid.
Thank you, Judge. Yeah, thank you.
That finishes our afternoon, Meg.